Today I'm going to show you how I made this journal with sculpted front and blank pages. So first I prepare the pages, and it's just printer paper because I'm not gonna be doing any paintings in this book, and I just fold them in half and I stack them inside of each other in count of 3, so each one of these little books have 6 pages total. Then I just stack them on top of each other and I clamp them with little chip clips, and I put a little piece of paper so they don't leave imprints, and I mark even number of slits in all of the books together, and then I just use scissors to cut through little holes in all of these little books. And I just use little scissors, but you gotta make sure that you go through all of them and that you don't cut too deep. Then I pick some thread and I start sewing. So I start stitching it together. I'm not sure if this is like a real bookbinding stitch, because I learned it somewhere years and years ago, and this is something I've been using ever since. But I just stitch them together, and then you can see whenever the thread comes back out, I just loop it under the previous stitches and I go back inside, and then I go back out and I loop it again, and at the ends there will be just the stitches going from the previous book up into the next book, and I just loop it under that stitch and I just tie a little knot every time I go. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's also kind of hard to show for me. I don't know why. But you know, you might be better off just checking somebody else's tutorial. I'll link some good tutorial on handmade bookbinding in the description, so if you want to give them a watch. I'm not a very good bookbinder. But yeah, just keep stitching them together until you're all out of the little pages to stitch, and after that we are going to be covering the spine. So all the stitches, we're going to be covering them with another piece of paper, so it doesn't have to be too pretty. Just make sure it's not too bulky. And this is what the stitching looks like, and this is what the sewn book looks like without any covers on. So then on a thicker paper I cut out a little strip and I just cover all the stitching with it. Then for the cover I used a backing from a watercolor pad that I had, and I just cut it in half, and it was actually perfect size for my book. So I just glue it to the first pages and I line it with another piece of paper just to make sure that the moisture doesn't get to the rest of the book and doesn't buckle the paper, and I press it with some weight and just leave it. So next I'm going to be sculpting the front piece, and the inspiration for the sculpted front sketchbook journal cover came from a channel called Ace of Clay. He made this gorgeous cover for a journal, so I decided to try my hand with some cheap polymer clay that I found at Dollar General for $4 for a big ass brick. So I didn't know at the point how well it's gonna turn out, but I just decided to try. Then I just glue some paper around the cover just to cover the cardboard, and I use some black construction paper, and just make it nice and smooth. And then I cut out this pretty flower paper I had to cover that on the inside and make it all nice and pretty. After I baked, I just super glued it to the front and painted it black with some acrylic paint. It took quite a few coats, but I got it all nice and matte and black. And then afterwards I actually went ahead and brushed some black nail polish on some of the raised designs, because I figured it would look nicer, because acrylic paint is matte and shiny nail polish creates that nice little texture difference in textures. And yeah, this is how I made my little book and this little painting shots of it, and I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks so much, and have a nice day, and subscribe on my Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye.